you go through the stages of getting a divorce. You go through being sad, you go through being really pissed off, and it was really hard for everybody because it was like losing family members for a while.
What are we gonna do? Are we done? When I had just bought a house, about to get married, but I had already done the house thing, and it was like, shit, here we are. Now we're stuck in this pickle.
It was scary. It was like we're finally brave enough to make those moves into our lives, and the thing that we were so proud of and that was so supportive of those decisions was crumbling beneath us.
We're still left with a passion to play and to play music together and to play for the people that love the band that we created, that we all created. We made the decision that we were going to go on.
It definitely felt like we were at a loss, but we couldn't just pack it in. There's moments where it felt like a loss. I mean, that's why the next album is entitled No World for Tomorrow. Please be open. Yeah! There you go, band. Hold on to that for a minute. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to my home, the Big Beige. When I was growing up, one of my father's favorite bands was, favorite rock bands was the Band. And one of the albums that I would stumble across growing up was music from the Big Pink. And so I was just kind of always into the idea of a place where just creativity kind of flows out of, and I don't know. So when I got this place, I immediately named it the Big Beige. The rooms upstairs were actually like a small studio where Trav and I worked on a good portion of that album. So there's a lot of art, it's a new construction, but it already has some great memories. It's already seen some age. Come on, sister. Barbs. Seriously? Seriously? Come on. Come on. And watch, she'll take a pit. What's up? Come on. Yay! Come on. Come on, man. Seriously. I'm gonna fucking lose my shit. There's a camera.
They both really matured. I mean, they had to grow up. This was like a reality check. This was time for them to take the reins and take control of the future of this band.
Eventually, it came down to starting to write new stuff for a new album.
I mean, it's definitely an album of endurance. Everybody needs something in their life to, when you make something that you're really proud of, it's usually got some sort of drama behind it.
It was just like this big accomplishment. It was like, wow, we're gonna press on, man. We started to look for a drummer that we were gonna want to work with. We had done a little tour with Dillinger Escape Plan a couple of months prior.
Funny, because I didn't really meet Chris. I heard so much about him. Because Pete Robertson was, he was saying that, he's like, yo, did you check out the drummer? Did you check out his foot?
The thing that I always felt about Coheed from an outside point of view is that, you know, there's something about like Claudio's voice that like when he sings it, he means it.
I introduced Chris to the band, even though it had nothing to do with him joining the band. But when Dillinger Escape Plan were playing at the Leeds Festival, we were in trailers next to each other, and Chris came out to talk to me outside, and he said, "Oh, I like Coheed." I said, "Well, come in and meet the guys." I brought him inside and introduced him to everybody in their trailer. And little did we know, a few years later, he'd be playing drums for the band, which is pretty amazing when you think about it.
That band was kind of having problems of their own.
You know, when you're in a touring band and you tour 8 or 9 months out of the year, your family, if that family's dysfunctional and it's not working and, you know, people are fighting all the time, it just becomes like a real big drag.
You know, I think we both parties saw an opportunity, more with like kind of the hopes of just kind of jamming and just see where it would go.
You know, not throw any expectations on it, just let it happen. You know, rolling through the tunes, and then I remember the first thing, like, you know, Claude said was like I think like halfway through, he's like, "I'm ready to take this on the road right now," or something like that.
Gotta keep warm. Something like that. I got a couple minutes. Maybe I'm just not gonna play.
Let's take a little tour right here and show you exactly what's going on here. So we're like here in the house, like, you know, I'm chilling. It's my mother's house, and Claude and Travis come over because we were working on a cover for the Trooper, you know, our Maiden for Kerrang, and you know, they come to the house, and Claude's like looking at, you know, like these paintings. He's like, "Oh, nice paintings," you know, and he looks at the name and he's just like, "Boy, that name's familiar, Gray Girardi." So he looks at it and he's kind of just like, "That name's familiar." He's just like, what is that all about?" So he calls his mom. He's like, "Yeah, I'm looking at these paintings with the name Gray Girardi on it, and that name sounds familiar." And then, you know, his mom was just like, "Yeah, I think we have a couple of those. Actually, the interesting thing is that his grandmother was friends with my grandmother, and they worked like at the same, I think they worked at the same place, like in the mall, which is up, I think it's in Nyack, and they were friends, like, and they hung out and like just chill together, like, you know, worked at the same place, like, you know, like." And I told my mom, and she was like freaking out. She's like, "I can't believe it. Like, I think I knew, you know, Claudio's like grandma," like all sorts of stuff. It said, my mom said they were like really, really good friends, and you know, they chilled, and you know, my grandma loved her, like, you know, said they were like really, really close. So kind of freaky, but pretty awesome.
Chris Penny does not have normal dreams. It's fucking him playing a pad. It's just, this dude's a machine.
We started jamming out, and it was really great fit.
So I thought, why the hell not? I'm like, yeah, let's do something, you know?
Seeing Chris with them, I was like, hell yes, like, this is fucking perfect.
When it came time to writing a record, we wanted him to be a part of it.
We were stoked on everything he did, wanted him to record the record, talking to the label that he was on, but they were just like, no.
It was huge for me. It was like, so, you know, like I wanted it to happen so bad, you know, but here, because I was still like on another label, was being held to it.
Chris could not play on the album, but he had every bit of his soul in that album. With those, you know, the drum parts are based on what Chris Penny played.
Taylor came in, and Taylor did a wonderful job, man, and like, great spirit, great personality, like, I mean, he made us feel very comfortable.
And all that I knew is that, you know, my heart, you know, felt and wanted to go forward, you know, being with this band.
Matt was still sitting in on bass, and he was doing a great job, but I think right around that time, that's when Mike, you know, we had found out that Mike had actually entered rehabilitation. And not to discredit Matt, I mean, he's an awesome player, and you know, shit, if there was